Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beth, and if you are new here, I am a huge lover and collector of Natasha Denona eyeshadows. You may have seen the Instagram post I created kind of floating around some other videos where I showed you basically the repeat shades in these new quads. So today's video, I really wanted to just go through that again and swatch them next to the original palettes. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I have not put these on my eyes. I'll just say I've been dealing with a bit of an eczema flare. So if you can see, my fingers are still a little red. That's what that is. But one of my eyelids was very flared. So I haven't really worn makeup in like a week, but I finally feel like I'm at a place where I can do some swatches for you guys. So obviously there are 3 different quads. They come in a nude, a cool, and a rosy variety. So these have a 24-month shelf life. I'm just checking all of them. They are made in Italy, and they each have around 7.5 grams of product. It does fluctuate a little bit, so this is 7.6, this is 7.8, and this is 7.8. I'll show you the pan size in a minute, but it is a little confusing because Natasha said that she was returning to her original, I think, 2.5 gram pan size. So I think that's referring to the volume and not the weight. So we'll do some direct comparisons in a minute. But anyway, I ordered all of mine from the Natasha Denona website. I will have different shopping options for you. I know Ulta has recently put out a 20% off coupon on one item. That might be a good place to pick one up. Otherwise, I know the Sephora sale will be coming up here soon before you know it, probably early April. And then on the Natasha Denona website, I do have a code that will get you 10% off. They did ship really quickly this time around, and the good thing about Natasha Denona is that they always ship in these outer boxes. So I just kept one of them to show you. There is some like inside wrapping as well. Usually I will take pictures of this before I recycle it, just so I have the kind of batch information if I ever needed to refer to it, which I have never had to do for any reason. But anyway, so these are the compacts, really nice plastic compacts. I believe this is the same component, like outer component, as the new cream blushes. I have not purchased any of those because I'm not a huge fan of like traditional cream blush formulas. So I haven't purchased any, but from what I've seen, they are identical. Unfortunately, these pans are not removable, which is a downside in my opinion, but you do get a mirror, and you can see these will kind of stand up. So these pans are going to be larger, like I said, and I'll just show you quickly some of the size comparisons. I will have timestamps down below if you just want to jump ahead, but let me pull out, I'll show you a mini, I'll show you some of the original kind of 5-pan size. I never picked up either the green brown or the blue purple that she launched with initially, which now I regret, but those were quite sizable investments. And speaking of cost, so these each retail for $48. I don't have an issue with the price necessarily, especially if you can get a slight discount or use some reward points, that kind of thing. I understand the case for having a smaller 5-pan palette. These retail for about $27, I think now. The middies retail for, I think, 60 something. So I think for me, especially with the middies, with the pans being removable, I think this is still my favorite personally. I like having some additional options, I guess. I do like the overall makeup of these quads because you do get, I think, 2 mattes and 2 metallic / sparkling foils in each. So that for me kind of fits my day-to-day needs, which I think is what these are really geared towards. So having an extra shade, especially if it's a light shade like this, doesn't necessarily give me anything that I don't already get in a quad like this. If I need a light shade to set my primer, that kind of thing, I can just reach into my face powder. But I understand people who prefer this format. I also understand people who want to pay just a little bit more and get a lot more shades. So it's really, I think, personal preference. To address, I guess, one of the critiques though, this was her 5-pan size, so basically the larger version of the mini. These did have removable pans though, which was great. And these were, I think, the same as the 28-pan palettes in terms of the size. So this one, the total net weight is 12.5 grams, which I think works out to 5 times 2.5. I think, yeah, this says 5 times 2.5 grams. So does this one. Yeah, so same pan size. I will note though that I think this coral palette is the last one of these that Natasha Denona released. And I think this was the same price as these quads. So I think when this released in, I want to say 2019, it was also $48. So yes, in theory, you're kind of losing a shade. Whether you think this component is an upgrade or not, I can kind of see both arguments. You do get a mirror with this, but you don't have removable pans. But you do have to also take into account that that price point was from 6 years ago now. So let me just pull out one of these. So you can see I went to the trouble of actually writing down the shade names and numbers, which is how I can track basically what is a new shade and what is a repeat. So I can't take out these other pans to do a direct comparison, but if I just kind of hover it over, hopefully you can see that. So I don't know if with some of her newer formulations, I don't know if I have any in retro. I do like that you can reference the shade name and number on the back there. Let's see, do I have any psychedelic? I don't know if that's going to be. With some of these different formulations, like these kind of slurries, not that one. When you have a pan, nope, that's not gonna be it. The ones where there's a hole in the bottom, I think to allow the product to kind of dry. Let's see, Muse, no? I am not doing well here. Let's try Mia. Okay, yeah, so like this, you have this kind of textured bottom with the hole in it. I don't know if the fill of this weight-wise is going to be different than like a matte shadow, just by virtue of the type of formula and how it's produced. Like the pan size is going to be the same, but the weight may vary. So that may be why we're getting 7.8 or 7.6 as opposed to 10. Would be my guess. I can't take the pans out without destroying the compact. I had someone ask me about that on Instagram, and even if I use like my Danessa Myricks magnetic tool, I can feel there is, I think, some magnet or metal in here, but it's not pulling up the pan. So I think these are pretty firmly in there. So I think that's all I wanted to say in terms of an overview for like value and packaging and all of that. Again, whether it's more than you want to pay for a quad or not is up to you. I know people were in uproar over the Hourglass quads when these released. These were, I think, 68. And these are 1 gram per each shadow, so 4 grams of products. You're getting about half the amount. So Hourglass is, I think, more of a luxury brand. I do have all of the new REM quads. They very kindly sent these to me in PR. Haven't really had a chance to play with them yet, but these are 4.5 grams. So I'll just take one of these out. I might actually wear makeup tomorrow and play with one of these. So again, just for the sake of comparison, I think quality of packaging, they're similar. This has a clasp as opposed to a magnet. Is that going to help if I drop it? But yeah, let me know if you would like to see a more kind of in-depth comparison between these two quad groupings, I guess. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. And I'm going to start off, I think, with the Cool quad. And again, I will have timestamps down below. Okay, so the ones that we are going to be looking at for this particular quad. So we will need, I need a Nude and Mini Rose and Retro. And then also Xenon. Okay, so the first shadow, and I know there's going to be some reflection here, but I'll do what I can. Okay, so the first shadow is Skift, which is in this upper left-hand corner. Okay, so I'll try to do these, I think, both at the same time. So using my finger, I heard some people say that they think this is a different formulation, even if the shade name and number is the same as these older palettes. I did look at that, and of course my palettes are going to be a little bit older for the full size because I essentially buy them when they're released now. So that is Skift from the quad, and that is Skift from the Xenon palette. So yeah, so I did notice some slight differences. So some of that just comes down to texture. It seems like this formula is a little bit thinner. At least I didn't kind of pick up quite as much. So that is Skift. And then for Stone, we have I Need a Nude. So I'll try to do the same kind of index finger for the quad and my middle finger for the larger size. Okay, so Stone, this one right here. And I am kind of digging in a little bit. So Stone. So that is the difference there. And I don't know too if having, the larger pan size kind of lets you dig into it a little bit more, but that is Stone. So the next one here is interesting. So this is Opart 546 CM. So I'm going to swatch this one. And then this one is going to be from Mini Rose. And like I said, the difference in pan size will affect how much I can pick up. So I'd say those are pretty similar. The one that I did want to swatch as well, though, we did have an earlier version of Opart, which I know some people pointed out. That was in a different formula. So I'll go ahead and swatch that for you. That was from Retro. And this one is this one right here. So this is a cream to powder. I'm trying to make sure my fingers are mostly clean here. So this is Opart. So you can see it has that almost like wet look kind of sheen to it. So I will swatch that next to this one. I've kind of changed my mind a little bit about cream to powder formulas. I used to not really enjoy them, but I've come to appreciate them for what they are. And then the last shadow here is new. So this is the shade Hush. So we don't have a shadow with the same name. So this is going to be a metallic. Skift was a sparkling foiled, and the other two mattes are in the creamy matte formula. So I'll just put that there. So really, I think beautiful. It's not super, super cool. It's a little bit more neutral, I think. But that is the full cool quad. So we have the quad on this side and the similar shades on this side. Go ahead and zoom in here so you can get a better look. Okay, so I think I have space, let's see. I don't think I have space for the two other quads, so I might just do Rosy next because I know there's only really one shade comparison to do. So this is the Rosy quad. We have basically the same kind of shade formula composition here. We have one sparkling foiled, one metallic, and two creamy mattes. So the shade Affinity here is also in the Love Face palette. And I know this is a favorite shade of a lot of people. I did like that this palette did have removable pans as well. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same quad on my index finger and older shadow on my middle finger. Those look pretty similar. I think if you are a fan of that shadow in this palette, you will enjoy the quad. So yeah, that looks pretty similar to me. I mean, you can find, I think, ingredients for a lot of these palettes still online if you did want to do kind of a side-by-side look at those. If you do have a question about an older palette, let me know. I think I have the boxes for all of the palettes that I do have. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and swatch the other three here because I don't have any comparisons because, well, I take that back. Shell doesn't have a direct comparison, but there is the shade Shell in some older palettes that I'll swatch for you. So I guess I spoke too soon. Okay, so that's Shell. That is, lose track of what these are called. Mecca or Mesa, and then Lucent. So that is the Rosy quad, and this is actually a little bit more of kind of a, I think, yellow leaning champagne. Like, again, other than the shade Affinity, these are a little bit more just kind of warm shades. They're not like super rosy in my opinion. Okay, so let's talk about Shell. So we did have the shade Shell in the green brown palette, the large 28 pan palette. But they also put it into palette 02. So this is one of the 5 pans. So This, I think, is the same as the green brown palette, but you can see this is 64V shell, so it's not the same as 645 creamy matte. I think this indicates velvet as the formulation. So we had it in that, and we also had it in Cupid, which was, I think, a BoxyCharm exclusive limited edition palette that they did with all existing shades. So this also does 64V shell, if you can see that. So it's going to be the second one here or the middle one here. I don't know if these are going to swatch any differently. This one feels a lot creamier for what it's worth. But those are the two other shell, and I'll go ahead and swatch this one again on my finger, just so we have all of them in one place. I think that one's maybe a tad smoother, but I'll just swatch. So yeah, shade-wise, I'd say those are pretty similar. Again, I mean, I do appreciate when she basically reformulates an existing shade based on new technology or any other improvements that they can make. I do appreciate that. So let me clean up a little bit here. I think I'm due for a new matte. But yeah, let me zoom in on that one again. So that is the Rosy quad there. So like I said, if you were a fan of those older shades, I think you will be happy with the new quad. So let me go ahead and wash these off. Give you another look before I do. And then I will show you the Nude quad. Okay, so we're back to talk about the Nude quad and open this one up. So this is an interesting one because we have two sparkling foiled shades instead of a sparkling foiled and a metallic. And then we have the two creamy mattes again as well. So I think each palette does have two of the creamy matte formulas. I also find this interesting because the shade Flutter, we don't have, again, a direct comparison. I think this kind of formula or version of Flutter is new. But we did have a shade Flutter 463K in the Retro Glam. So I will swatch it next to that. I kind of guessed that was going to be the closest based on the pictures. But we did also get a shade called Flutter in Roxa. So I'll swatch that one as well. That's going to be up here. So I think this is going to be more pink leaning. But let's see, I'll do Flutter here. So the sparkling foiled formula from Natasha, I think, is my favorite, at least from her. So I'm always thrilled to get more of those. So that is the quad. This is the Retro Glam. So a little bit of a thinner formula, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. And this one also. I think this shade Flutter, of course I just tossed the box. That was a sparkling wet effect, I believe. 567 SW. And you can see it definitely is a lot more pink, which makes it a bit frustrating for those of us who try to track these things. But yeah, I'll do this again over on this side, and then I'll do this one. So quite similar, really. I don't know if sparkling foiled is just K, like crystal by another name. But yeah, those are quite similar. And the beauty of these midis as well, because they are removable pans, if you wanted to save yourself the money and get at least a comparable shade, you could make your own little quads. Okay, so I think that is it for that shade. Next up we have, is it Attic, I think? So this one, again, try to keep my fingers as clean as possible. So this shade is going to also be in the Star and Mini Star. So these are both 117 creamy matte, or all are the same, I should say. So we have the second one here. And I think this is the second Star palette I purchased. I think she might have tweaked some of the shades, but this one, the numbers still kind of line up. So that one is going to be down here. And these older palettes as well, you could still remove these pans. You just had to be a little bit more careful and kind of use like a spatula to get them out. But they were removable. Oop, you see that. So I do really appreciate that type of usability. Okay, so let's go ahead and swatch all of these. So again, I'll swatch the quad on my index finger, this one, I guess, on this finger, and this one on my, ring finger. So those are the three there. And I'll put this one over here. So pretty darn similar to me. If you would like me to do a side-by-side comparison of these quads, I don't know if I could do all three, just because removing that much eyeshadow from my eyelids would, I think, cause some skin irritation that I'm not prepared for. But if you do have one in particular, I can definitely do that. So let me know. Okay, so that is it for this matte shade. This other one was another repeat. This is the shade Shea, 183 cm. This was in the Safari palette, but I never purchased that one. That was before I started basically purchasing all of the Natasha Denona palettes that she released. So yeah, I can't compare that for you, but I mean, it's a matte brown. And this is the other sparkling foiled shade called Drift. So that is what that looks like. I think I might prefer this and Cool to Rosy based on the swatches. I know everyone has their kind of personal favorite. I'll give you, I guess, my 2 cents in terms of what you might consider picking up if you are looking to only get one in a minute. So that is, again, what Nude looks like. There's a little speck of something in that matte shade, but it is matte. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to refer back to my own diagram because I can't keep that kind of information in my head. Okay, so I would say if you are a big fan of the sparkling foiled formula, the Nude palette has more of those. It has 2 as opposed to 1 that is in the other 2 palettes. If that wasn't enough kind of number gibberish to throw at you. So that could be one consideration. The other consideration would be, do you have any of these shades in other palettes? Are you able to kind of recreate them for yourself, or do you already know that you like them? And then the last thing is, which one has the most new shades? So Rosy does have the most new shades technically, although Shell I think is very similar to some older ones that we have or we've had, but you may not have them because, like I said, they're a bit older. For that matter, Shea is also from a much older palette. Flutter is kind of similar to the one from Retro Glam. Attic we've seen in Star. So, like, I don't think there's a wrong or right answer here. It really just comes down to your preference and what you think you will enjoy. So, hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did find it helpful, if you really love someone getting into the weeds about older Natasha Denona shades, make sure that you are following me on Instagram and also here on YouTube. And I do like to, whenever we have a new Natasha Denona formula with removable pans, I will remove the pans and put them on a neutral background like this gray, so you can kind of get the unadulterated, unbiased look at them. I saw Christy Healy say in her video that the My Dream palette, which I think I have right here, that it looks a lot grungier in the palette than it does on the eyes because it has this black background. So if you'd like to see pictures of these palettes without the kind of differing background, then again, make sure to follow me on Instagram, and I have those on there. So yeah, that's going to do it. Again, let me know if you have any requests down below. And until next time, I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.